There's a secret most people never uncover. It's not hidden in some ancient scroll or coded within quantum mechanics textbooks. It's right in front of us, present in every thought, emotion, and moment of silence we experience. The truth is this: we are not passive observers of reality. We are participants, co-authors, and more often than not, we are unconsciously scripting the very limitations we think we're trapped in. This is the core insight of Reality Transurfing, the revolutionary philosophy by Russian quantum physicist-turned-mystic, Vadim Zeland. In a world obsessed with hustle culture, productivity, and endless control, Zeland proposed something radical: that reality is a mirror, and that what we think, feel, and believe becomes. But he didn't just preach mysticism, he mapped out the mechanics. In his work, Zeland laid out practical tools for shifting your life, not through grinding harder or manifesting blindly, but by navigating the structure of reality itself. The method? Transurfing. Surfing across life's infinite possibilities by aligning with the version of reality you truly want. In this video, you won't just hear about theories, you'll receive 15 practical examples, steps you can start taking immediately to shift your trajectory and begin creating the life you desire. Let's begin with the most foundational shift of all. 1. Neutralize the pendulum. Don't feed what drains you. Zeland opens reality, transurfing with the idea of pendulums. These are invisible structures, mental constructs that feed on collective human attention. Pendulums can be political movements, media outrage cycles, toxic relationships, or even the daily routine of complaining. They gain power when we emotionally engage with them. The more we resist, the more we strengthen them. This is the paradox. By fighting what we hate, we give it energy. We become emotionally entangled, and without realizing it, we begin orbiting someone else's pendulum, drifting further from our own unique path. Practical example: imagine you're stuck in a workplace filled with negativity. Coworkers gossip, management is unfair, and you wake up every day with dread. Most people would vent, complain, plot revenge. But in doing so, they feed the pendulum. Instead, try this. Become energetically neutral. Stop emotionally reacting to the drama. Internally say, "This is not my pendulum. I don't give it power." Watch it from the outside, like a passing storm. You'll notice something uncanny. People stop involving you in drama. Problems resolve or bypass you. New opportunities emerge. It's not magic. It's the shift of energy flow away from what drains you and back into what aligns with you. 2. Use the mirror principle. Reality reflects, it doesn't react. This is one of the most powerful truths Zeland presents. Reality is a delayed mirror. It doesn't immediately show what you want. It reflects what you believe and expect most dominantly, often subconsciously. So here's the trap most fall into. We see a problem in our life and we react to it with frustration, fear, or resistance. Then we wait for things to change before we feel better. But reality doesn't work that way. You don't wait for the mirror to smile at you. You smile first. Practical example: suppose you feel lonely and unseen. Your instinct is to withdraw, waiting for someone else to make the first move. But the reality mirror reflects withdrawal, so you get more loneliness. Instead, you begin to generate the inner feeling of connection. Reach out, compliment others, walk with your head high as though you are already someone whose presence matters. Over time, reality catches up with your new emotional baseline. People begin noticing, conversations change. It seems external, but the shift started internally. This principle is liberating and terrifying. It means you're responsible for initiating the very change you want to see. But it also means you have power, tremendous power. 3. Activate outer intention. Let life work with you. We're taught to work hard, to grind, to force our desires into existence. Zeland calls this inner intention, a willful push against the world. But he also introduces a more subtle, potent force: outer intention. Outer intention is not control, it's alignment. It's the feeling that reality itself wants to help you, if only you stop blocking it with anxiety and obsession. It is the act of holding the image of what you want with clarity, then letting life assist you in surprising ways. Practical example, you're seeking a new job. With inner intention, you might panic, apply to 50 companies, and stress every step. But with outer intention, you first take time to visualize the ideal role. You imagine walking into that office, feeling seen and valued. You embody the energy of someone who already has it. Then you let go. You still apply, yes, but you trust that life will conspire. You talk to people. You follow intuitive nudges. You're not desperately chasing. You're walking in rhythm with the flow of opportunities that are already unfolding. Outer intention isn't passivity. It's surrender without stagnation. It's allowing life to work with you rather than struggling against it. 4. Reduce importance. Stop worshiping the outcome. One of Vadim Zeland's most counterintuitive yet essential insights is the concept of importance, the mental pressure we assign to people, things, outcomes, or even fears. When something becomes too important to us, we distort the energy around it. We either inflate desire until it becomes obsession, or we amplify fear until it becomes paralysis. The universe responds to balance. When we overvalue or dramatize anything, we invite balancing forces, the reality's way of restoring equilibrium. And ironically, those forces often block or sabotage our goal. Practical example, you're about to give a presentation. You think, this must go perfectly. My whole career depends on this. Suddenly, you feel stiff. You forget key points. You radiate nervousness, and it spreads. Why? Because you overloaded the situation with importance. Instead, remind yourself, this is just one moment. I am not begging for approval. I'm simply sharing. You reframe the event as normal, neutral, even playful. The tension dissolves. You speak with calm. And ironically, it goes better than when you were trying to force it. Reducing importance doesn't mean not caring. It means caring without desperation. And that's where real power lives. 5. Play with slides. Rehearsing your future emotionally. Reality Transurfing introduces a tool called the slide. Think of it as a movie you replay in your mind, a scene of your ideal life, not just in imagery, but in emotion. It's not a rigid vision board. It's an emotional reality that you mentally visit again and again until it feels familiar, even normal. Slides allow you to step into the feeling of a future already lived. And because reality reflects your internal state, this becomes a subtle magnet, shifting your external circumstances to match the frequency of that imagined experience. Practical example, you dream of moving to a peaceful home near the ocean. Instead of daydreaming once and forgetting it, you create a mental slide. You imagine waking up to the sea breeze. You feel the warm wood floors under your feet. You hear seagulls. You sit with coffee on a sun-drenched porch. You don't obsess. You rehearse this feeling in short moments, just 30 seconds a day. Over time, your subconscious begins seeking ways to match that frequency. You notice new job opportunities near the coast. You meet someone with a property. You take small steps without strain. The slide isn't magic. It's alignment through repetition. You stop trying to control life and instead begin co-creating it with a deeper rhythm. 6th coordinate, intention. Don't just push, align. Zeland distinguishes between intention and coordination of intention. While most people use willpower to achieve goals, Reality Transurfing offers a higher refinement, the ability to coordinate your intention with the world around you. This means moving with awareness, timing your actions, acting when the moment is right instead of forcing outcomes prematurely. It's a dance between action and trust. Practical example, you're building a creative project, maybe writing a book or launching a YouTube channel. Inner intention might tell you to post every day, chase trends, or burn out in an effort to make it. Coordinated intention, however, invites a different approach. You listen for inspiration. You observe your energy levels. You align with the right moment to publish. You don't sabotage yourself with urgency. You create from rhythm. You realize speed does not equal progress. Harmony does. You take the next step only when your inner clarity matches the outer opportunity. This level of mindfulness often produces better results with less effort, because you're no longer climbing uphill against your own current. These are not wishful ideas. They are technologies of attention. Every one of these examples invites you to stop leaking your energy and begin aligning your focus, emotion, and will with the version of reality that already exists but needs your internal permission to unfold. 7. Let go of control. Stop chasing and start trusting. One of the most deeply ingrained habits in modern society is control. We try to control people, outcomes, timelines, and even emotions. But in Reality Transurfing, Vadim Zeland makes it clear, control is an illusion that creates resistance. The more you try to force reality, the more it resists. The transurfing model doesn't say do nothing. It says, let go of unnecessary control, especially over what is not your domain. Take aligned action, but surrender the outcome. Like a surfer, you don't control the wave, you ride it. Practical example, you're dating someone new and want things to go well, but instead of letting the connection unfold, you overanalyze every message. You seek constant validation. You try to shape how they see you. Eventually, they sense the tension and pull away. Now, imagine letting go. You still show care, but you allow space. You stop needing things to go a certain way. Suddenly, you're magnetic. You're not clinging, you're flowing. And life respects that freedom. Letting go of control isn't passivity. It's trusting your inner world more than the chaos of the external. 8. Redefine your identity. Stop telling the same story. We don't experience life as it is. We experience it through the filter of who we believe we are. Reality Transurfing teaches that your self-concept is a script, and reality simply plays the role you assign it. Change your identity, and you change your possibilities. Most people cling to the same internal story for years. I'm bad with money. I always self-sabotage. I'm just not lucky in love. These aren't facts, they're constructs you've emotionally rehearsed. Reality echoes them because you've made them sacred. Practical example. Imagine someone who's always been the underachiever. They internalize failure. When opportunity arises, they shy away. When compliments come, they reject them. Reality responds in kind, giving them less because they expect less. Now imagine they begin redefining their identity, not through fake affirmations, but through small, consistent shifts. They start to say, I'm learning to succeed. They take tiny wins seriously. They collect evidence of growth, even if subtle. Over time, their self-image upgrades, and reality begins to reflect it. People treat them with more respect. Projects flow more smoothly. The outer world realigns with the inner. Your reality follows the blueprint of the identity you protect. Change the blueprint, and the architecture of your life transforms. 9. Align the heart and mind. Your energy must be united. Perhaps one of the most profound teachings in Reality Transurfing is the concept of heart and mind coordination. It means your intellect and intuition, logic and feeling, must be moving in the same direction. If they aren't, you create conflict within, and reality responds with mixed results. Zeland suggests that most people fail to manifest their desires not because the desires are wrong, but because they want something their heart doesn't care about, or they ignore the heart's whisper in favor of logic and fear. Practical example. You're offered a high-paying job, but your body tightens every time you think about it. Your heart says no, but your mind says, this makes sense. You take the job, and within months you feel drained, unmotivated, and confused. Now imagine you pause. You ask, what would actually bring me peace? You listen, not just with the head, but with the body. You pursue a smaller opportunity, but it energizes you. You feel light. Reality starts giving you clues, helpers, signs, because now your energy is coherent. When the heart and mind are aligned, action becomes easy, synchronicity multiplies, and you move through life not by force, but by resonance. Every one of these practices leads back to a simple truth. You are not just a participant in reality, you are a creator of it. But creation doesn't always look like building from scratch. Often it's more like tuning a radio, adjusting your frequency until your external experience matches your inner clarity. letting go of control, redefining your story, and aligning your energies. These are not just psychological tricks. They are spiritual disciplines disguised as practical tools. And when done consistently, they begin to bend reality quietly, almost imperceptibly, until one day, everything around you looks different. Not because the world changed on its own, but because you finally did. 10. Outer intention. Let the world do the work. In most Western teachings, we're taught that willpower is the key to success. You must grind, push, fight, and force reality into submission. But Vadim Zeland introduces a radical idea. There's a power even greater than inner intention. It's called outer intention. Inner intention is what you want and do. Outer intention is the world helping you, moving on your behalf, aligning coincidences, people, and opportunities toward your chosen frame. It's like a secret current beneath the surface. You can't force it, but you can ride it if you're aware. Outer intention activates when your vision is clear, your heart is engaged, and your ego steps aside. It's not passive, but it's not controlling either. It's more like guiding a sailboat than rowing a canoe. Practical example. You want to publish a book. Instead of obsessively pitching publishers or trying to manifest it overnight, you deeply visualize the book as if it already exists in the world. You imagine the reader holding it, the shelves it's sitting on, the feeling of accomplishment. Then, you start taking steps without desperation. Suddenly you get an email from someone who knows a publisher. You coincidentally meet an editor at a gathering. Things move without force. That's outer intention, not magic, just energy moving in alignment with your inner clarity and outer surrender. 11th act as if, without pretending. This phrase, fake it till you make it, is often misunderstood. In transurfing, it's not about pretending to be something you're not. It's about embodying the energy state of the reality you desire before the evidence appears. This is not delusion. It's resonance. If you wait for evidence before shifting your frequency, you'll stay trapped in your current loop forever. Reality mirrors your state, not your wishes. Practical example. You're struggling with self-worth. You want to feel confident in social situations, but anxiety holds you back. Instead of pretending to be someone you're not, you close your eyes before entering the room and ask, what would the most grounded, authentic version of me feel like right now? You don't fake bravado. You feel into the energy of stability, calm breathing, open posture. You take on that state in microdoses. Over time, this becomes natural, and people begin to respond differently. You didn't fake confidence. You tuned into a version of yourself that already exists on a different frequency, and brought it into the now. This is the difference between performance and embodiment. Transurfing always prefers the latter. 12th, observe pendulums without feeding them. In reality, transurfing, a pendulum is any collective thought structure that feeds on your attention. This includes politics, drama, cancel culture, cliques, outrage mobs, toxic workplace dynamics, even the constant inner monologue of self-judgment. Pendulums thrive on emotional energy, whether love or hate. When you react, you feed them. Zeland's key teaching here is not to fight pendulum, but to observe them without giving them energy. This doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means not amplifying them with emotional reactivity. Practical example. You're on social media and see something that enrages you. You're about to comment, share, vent, but you pause. You recognize that this thing, whatever it is, wants your energy. Instead of reacting, you withdraw your attention. You stay neutral. You observe, but don't feed. Later, you use that energy for something productive, art, movement, a conversation that matters. The pendulum starves, and you stay in your center. This practice makes you impervious to manipulation, especially emotional or ideological. You stop being a pawn in someone else's game. You reclaim your inner space. And paradoxically, the more you observe without engaging, the more reality becomes malleable, because you're no longer stuck in its drama loops. Transurfing isn't about escaping the world. It's about moving through it as a conscious wave rider, present, aware, and unattached. You're still in the game, but you're not a piece on the board. you're the player, and the rules are bendable. Each of these tools is a piece of that puzzle, from activating outer intention, to stepping into the feeling before the result, to unhooking from energy traps. These are not abstract ideas. They are daily disciplines, spiritual technologies disguised as psychology. And when applied, they change something profound, not just the outcomes in your life, but the way you experience being alive. 13. The principle of coordination, a hidden flow beneath chaos. Most people think life is random, chaos stitched together by luck, control, or destiny. But Reality Transurfing introduces the principle of coordination, which states, even in the worst situations, a harmonious outcome is possible, if you shift your focus from panic to possibility. In other words, what seems like a disaster may secretly be coordinated to move you toward something better. Your only job is to stay aware enough to notice the invisible thread pulling you through. Practical example: you lose your job. Your mind goes into crisis mode, fear, scarcity, shame. But instead of spiraling, you step back and think, what if this isn't punishment but repositioning? You stay present. You resist negative momentum. A week later, a friend tells you about a new opportunity, one you never would have considered otherwise, and it turns out to be far more aligned with your passion and freedom. You didn't manifest it through sheer will. You simply didn't fight the redirection. You watched for where life might be coordinating your next step, and said yes. This practice transforms stress into curiosity. It replaces victimhood with openness, and it's only possible when you let go of control long enough to see the bigger pattern. 14. Lowering importance, the great balancer. This is perhaps the most counterintuitive rule in reality transurfing, and one of its most powerful. Zeland says, the moment you place excessive importance on something, you create energetic imbalance, and reality pushes back to restore equilibrium. It's the pendulum of desire. Obsession creates resistance. The more you need something, the more it runs from you. This doesn't mean you shouldn't care. It means you must not worship your goal. The energy must remain balanced. Practical example: you meet someone you're deeply attracted to. If you treat them like a goddess, you radiate nervousness, neediness, imbalance. They feel it. You repel them, even without saying a word. But if you stay grounded, recognizing that you are also valuable, that this moment is a gift, not a trial, and that your worth is not measured by their reaction, the energy shifts. They feel your centeredness. And now, connection is possible. Lowering importance doesn't mean apathy. It means reverence without desperation, wanting without worshiping. This is the state of flow, and reality bends toward those who move lightly. 15. The mirror technique. Reality as a reflection of state. This is the crown jewel of transurfing, and the most mysterious. Zeland teaches that reality is like a mirror, but unlike an ordinary mirror, it reflects not your appearance, but your inner state, your frequency, your assumptions, your emotional climate. But there's a twist. The mirror reflects with delay, so if you wait for reality to change before you shift your state, you'll be waiting forever. The trick is to feel first, act as if it's already true, and allow the mirror to catch up. Practical example: you want to be abundant, but your bank account is low. Most people obsess over numbers. They panic. They vibrate lack, and the mirror reflects more of it. But if you walk with a calm inner knowing that money is not a threat, that resources are always flowing, that opportunities are around the corner, you begin to move like someone who is safe. And eventually the mirror changes. Reality bends, but it will test you. It will show you old reflections to tempt you back into your old state. If you react, you reset the loop. If you remain still, if you hold the new frequency, the world has no choice but to change. This is not magical thinking. It's energetic mastery. The mirror doesn't lie, but it responds best to those who understand that state creates circumstance, not the other way around. Final reflections. You are not a prisoner of circumstance. You were never meant to fight reality. You were meant to dance with it. to shape it with your awareness, to move through it like a lucid dreamer who finally realizes, this was never fixed. Zeland's Reality Transurfing is not about denying hardship, it's about understanding the structure of reality itself, the layers behind the curtain, the mechanics of mind, the fluidity of outcomes. It's a map for those ready to leave the cycle of reactivity and step into the creator role, not the controller, not the manipulator, but the one who walks with clarity, calm, and coordination, and lets life respond in kind. The 15 examples we've explored are not tricks. They are spiritual disciplines disguised as practical psychology. They ask you to take radical responsibility for your energy, your assumptions, your alignment. They ask you to stop waiting and start resonating. You are already shaping your reality. Fix out. The question is, are you doing it consciously or unconsciously? You weren't meant to struggle your way through a chaotic world. You were meant to surf it, not by becoming someone new, but by realigning with who you already are, beneath the fear, the programs, and the noise. Vadim Zeland's Reality Transurfing isn't just a philosophy, it's a blueprint for radical ownership of your energy, for practical, repeatable tools that bend reality without breaking your soul. So as you walk forward after this video, remember, you don't need to force the world to change. You only need to change the script you're holding, and when you do, everything else follows.